The news said the reinvestigation of Tupac's murder is revealing new names and evidence of those involved. In case you missed it, when the new name Suge Knight was brought forth, Eminem was immediately drawn to it and said, quote, "I'm holding Suge responsible for the death of Ja Rule or anybody else that's down with the row," would be straight out of the mouth of the late great Mr. Christopher Wallace, better known by his stage name as Biggie Smalls. Detective Russell Poole suspected that Suge Knight arranged Tupac's murder before he could exit the labeled death row, according to the recently released police records. Subsequently, they framed the rival Crips to mislead investigators, raising the question of who is a celebrator. Just in case you missed it, the media just revealed that a former LAPD cop claims that Diddy had Tupac dealt with for $1 million. Suge then retaliated by having Biggie dealt with. Suge Knight, a known gang member, is held accountable for Tupac's murder. Diddy is a member of the Crips. According to Mike Dorsey, Kef D was supposedly recruited by Diddy to go after Tupac. And after 20 years of surviving on the streets, he was finally caught by the police, without being aware that he was being filmed. Kef D admitted throughout his interrogation that Diddy was the primary offender.
All four of those occasions, there's San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those four is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them, either one of them. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
The press reported. Diddy faces questions about his alleged role in Tupac's murder after being mentioned 77 times in a new legal filing. When Diddy was questioned about his involvement during last week's Diddy trial, according to Kef D, the hired person in the crime, everything was Diddy's wish. He even said that the reason it happened so fast was because Tupac was first reaching for his weapon when he passed away.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what I
started at Tupac and Suge.
Given that Tupac was already aware of his fate, the courtroom began to erupt in emotion. This got popular on the internet as 50 Cent shared it in response.
Because I always say the wrong thing. Last time they met me, I said something about Puffy. You saw that? You saw that clip? Yeah! I gotta stop doing that kind of shit. I've been talking to a therapist trying to help me with the shit I'm saying. I said crazy shit. No reason. Oh wait, maybe I said it about Puffy because he got Tupac killed.
Would then respond in his song, Fuel, in which he raps, "I ain't trying to beef with him cause he might put a hit on me like Kef D did him, and that's the only way you're going to be getting me calling out Diddy for putting a hit on Tupac by using Kef D in his group." This would be followed by incidents where Diddy was confronted about being responsible for Tupac's death, which ultimately resulted in this awkward Breakfast Club interview, indicating that Diddy is aware of his actions.
The documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody? But no, you have to do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
But much more troubling is the fact that investigators believe Suge Knight was behind the much bigger rap industry attack on Tupac, rather than Diddy alone. In case you didn't know, the media stated that rappers in the industry, including Snoop Dogg, Suge Knight, and Diddy, are making new developments in Tupac's murder case. After more evidence was found, including this interview in which Snoop Dogg himself admits that he was meant to be in the BMW with Tupac and Suge Knight the night before his untimely death, fans have come to believe that Snoop Dogg is ultimately responsible for Tupac's passing. They are all associated with the Death Row record label, and Diddy is set to be detained for questioning.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with.
Due to last-minute changes. Snoop was supposed to be in the BMW, but chose not to go. Suge, Tupac, and Snoop had a disagreement just 24 hours prior, which is most likely why this occurred.
Last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie, and I told her that I like their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
Following all of this, within 48 hours, even the police started to suspect the involvement of Snoop Dogg and Suge Knight. Snoop Dogg was highly tapped into the streets 20 years ago, according to police investigations. And many people think he maybe got a tip that Tupac was going to be targeted that night, which is why he didn't get in the car. But the federal government eventually uncovered another interview in which Snoop Dogg asserts that he thought Tupac disliked him 2 days before Tupac's untimely death.
A week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York, and it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like it. I want to do some music with them. And I just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with it. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
However, because the actual evidence would eventually expose the truth, the Diddy trial would chill the courtroom. Tupac was even taken out by Diddy's wish, according to Kef D, who said that on September 7, 1996, while in Las Vegas with Suge Knight, the head of his record company, he was being followed all night. After seeing a Mike Tyson bout at the MGM Grand, the two encountered the operatives who had been pursuing them all day until the action ended.
And their entourage went to the Mike Tyson, the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and two of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the thing was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Security would break up the altercation between Tupac, Suge, and the operatives, but it would require Suge and Tupac to go back to their hotel to change. Then they would depart at about 11 p.m., hop in the black BMW, and head down the Las Vegas Strip until the same people they had met in the club at the MGM Grand stopped them at a red light.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the Strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
But until a man named Kef D began giving sporadic online interviews and effectively confessing to being involved in Tupac's murder, the mystery surrounding the occurrence and the police case remained unexplained for 20 years. The Las Vegas police would then designate a subset of officers to essentially follow Kef D, who vividly recounts the moments he discovered Tupac committing the crime in an interview with DJ Vlad.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
Got to the light. We was supposed to go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
Evidence to back up his claims of involvement. Kef D would be allowed to disclose an unprecedented police interrogation from the night of the crime. Remember, it had been a cold case for 20 years.
You say Suge looks over, he sees you?
Yeah.
He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then, Tupac's busy getting evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando across Dre?
He leaned over on the window, rolled down the window.
By exposing his own reaction to Tupac's passing. Kef D would go on to further illustrate his involvement and show his sincerity.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. It took a lot of people's lives, dude. I hate that happened. Oh God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It never happened, dude.
This is the point at which the murder files become quite bizarre, and there are numerous holes in the narrative that, to be honest, make it seem as though Tupac is still alive. In order to clarify, an officer first discloses that Tupac was an industry insider who attempted to eliminate the competition between the Blue Street and Red Streets.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda they came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
His sudden death and disappearance would leave the case unexplained and the police records incomplete, demonstrating that the scheme was a failure. This would also account for Snoop Dogg's suspicions that Tupac was working with the federal government, which may have been the reason he didn't want to be near him in Las Vegas, completely avoiding the situation. Every murder record and piece of proof that the police found indicating Tupac was still alive are recounted in a well-known Reddit post. Preceding a performance in 2010, a rapper by the name of Trey was asked about Tupac, revealing that the two had previously been good friends. Things in the film start to get strange at this point. Even though they spend the day together working on a few albums and attending each other's family's birthday celebrations, Trey is asked about Tupac by the interviewer, and the cameraman assumes that Trey has stopped and quits recording abruptly. In response, Trey might say, "Tupac was in Cuba the last time I saw him."
Well, if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question. Nobody knows. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Surprisingly, a week later, a news website would upload a video that claimed to show Tupac in a Mexican park.
That's Pop, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
2. Most surprising, though, is Suge Knight's agreement that Tupac is still alive and well. In a number of interviews over the past 20 years, he has made this claim, and one in particular makes a compelling case for it. He claims that Tupac was doing well in the hospital before his passing, and that, quote, Tupac and I were laughing and joking when I left that hospital. I don't understand how someone can perform so well and then perform.
When I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
But what's odd about this is that police documents show Tupac was in a coma when he got to the hospital. If Tupac wasn't conscious, how could he? And Suge be laughing. Tupac was alive and well. Suge Knight said in an interview from 2008, 10 years apart.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital, he was conscious in the ambulance, he was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
He left.